Holby City Review, Love and Lemons for Lofty and Dominic. With Lofty and Dominic happy and settled, they both felt it was time to move things on to the next level. To Dominic this meant a romantic holiday in Tuscany, the sun, the delicious scent of lemon groves. To Lofty it meant proposing marriage. He decided he would do things properly and ask Dominic's parent for permission. So the glorious Carole Copeland was summoned to Holby. Carole wasn't shy about offering her opinion about the prospective marriage. "There's you, safe and not all that interesting," she told Lofty. "And you want to be with Dom, even though he's a proper little nightmare most of the time." She said Lofty should ponder what life would be like in 10 years' time, as she did with husband Barry. "I had to think what it would be like when it's just our souls," she said, and Lofty's face when he misheard our souls was a picture. It was all enough to make him worry if he was making the right decision. Dominic, meanwhile, had spotted Carole on AAU and thought she must be ill. It completely distracted him from the task in hand, which was looking after a patient under the beady eye of Henrik Hanssen, who smells of cedarwood shaving balm, in case you ever wondered. Carole finally half admitted what was going on, and the idea that Lofty was about to propose made Dominic very nervous. "I feel like I've swallowed a hedgehog," he told Essie. Lofty had a go at recreating his idea of Tuscany outside the wyvern entrance of the hospital, with lots of bunting, baskets of lemons and 2 artistically arranged bicycles. There was an awkward little conversation between Lofty and Dominic in which they both seemed too embarrassed to acknowledge what was going on, and Dominic went back to work. It took a pep talk from Hanssen to make him realize he really did want to marry Lofty, and he dashed outside. Lofty was taking down his Tuscany scenario, because it was considered a bit of a health hazard. Carole, Donna and Essie all looked on as Dominic went down on one knee. Then Lofty went down on one knee, and they proposed simultaneously. "I confess I felt a bit emotional. Emotional isn't a word I associate with Jacob Naylor, and she wouldn't want me to. Brilliant, high-achieving and driven are more Jacob Naylor words, but since her surgery after being shot she's struggled to be seen as the top surgeon she once was. Jack and Gaskell had to work together on one of those operations where the court surgeon thinks her bit should take priority and the neuro person disagrees. Rick Griffin was called in to arbitrate, and he sided with Jack, just. In the end, the surgery was successful and Jack was at her usual brilliant best, even though she was very crabby with Nikki the whole time, for which she later sort of apologized. Then we had one of those doomy scenes in Professor Gaskell's lab, in which he told his voice recorder that he'd noticed some worrying things about Jacob. She kept dropping things and her reflexes weren't as sharp as before. There were even a few little flashbacks to prove his point. And his worry is that she might have a neurological problem related to the surgery he performed on her. He's hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst, he said ominously. The third main story strand involved Essie. She was almost ready to leave hospital, but then complained of feeling unwell again. The patient in the next bed, Julie, was the kind of person who notices a lot about what's going on. She spotted what she thought was a romantic twinkle in Hanssen's eye every time Roxana is around. Can this be true? Is that why he's taken up the cedarwood shaving balm? She also noticed that Essie was reluctant to leave, and between them they worked out that it was because Essie needs her family, and Holby is her family now. Hopefully this will bring her back to the wards as a nurse again, because there was a scene involving her, Saka and Dominic that made me quite misty-eyed for when they were all a team on Keller. And in other news, Zaf was keen for Donna to get her Botox business up and running. His own efforts to interest Carole Copeland in a bit of filler didn't go well. Carole told him he needs it himself to wipe the smile off his face. For that comment alone, you have to love Carole. Now all we need is a Lofty wedding, complete with Carole and Sheila, and I will be a very happy person indeed. Sue Hasler is the author of the official Holby City book, which you can read.